too late to start your life over. Never could have dreamed for a vision to unfold like unmolded, fresh clay. You decide who you want to be today. It's a brand new morning, grand views are calling. Get up, this is your wake-up call, call in. There's no time to waste, man, no time to burn. Go ahead and make mistakes, and from that you learn and in turn appreciate all the simple things that bring joy in your life. Don't wait, be great. You just do it. 10,000 reps closer to getting to it. Hard work, sweat, and tears, it's all gravy. I'ma start over if my feet fail me. There's no quit, no hits I can't roll with. Skill of a masterful lyrical rap poet. A riff flows and shows the trick hoes. No one kill mics, dog ready to blow. Ready to go, steady, be ready for show. Destiny calling your name, get on that rope for that gold and just go. Yeah, just go. I don't need no confidence. I just need good friends. I don't need no innocent girl. We can repent in the end. I'm so tired just sitting here, going nowhere fast. I just need my miracle boy. I can rest in peace at last. Oh. Time changes seasons, tight squeezes, fuse rhyme and reason. The few, the proud, usurp the ground, make amends with the past, cause the future's now. So, suit yourself, abuse your health, assume all outsiders wanna take your wealth. It's gonna take more than a Bible belt to hold up your pants, while screams and yelps. Hold the phone, cause the prince and presses, trying to build a home with the chicken fences. Just don't come out like the manual meant it. Just don't target all my best intentions. Emphasis I started, I was reinvented. Ridiculed some, but recollected. Rectified minds when I wreck the session. Bitch, I get mine when it's time to get in line. If you're trying to slow my grind, this is homie control, yo. Prepare for the ride. Momentum like snowballs, rolling decline. Post forth the photo, frozen rewind. Can't seem to rest till my death is divine. Can't seem to follow when my bones can recline. Can't seem to shake that my mind is a gateway. Pass through the threshold and enter the light. Enter the light. Enter the light. Enter the light. I don't need no confidence. I just need good friends. I don't need no innocent girl. We can repent in the end. I'm so tired just sitting here, going nowhere fast. I don't need no, I just need my miracle boy. I can rest in peace at last. Oh.
No, Lila.
Hey everybody. That was Smoke Serpent, rest in peace, and it's a prelude to fantastic guest that agreed to come as my coach, the Grandmaster Eddie Bravo. Maybe you heard of him. You can ask about him. People will know.
Thank you very much.
I want to thank everybody. I want to thank I want to thank my gym, Undisputed Fitness, and Ruben and Nate and all those guys. And you can find them on undisputedfitness.com. You can find out everything you need to know about the Whole Life Challenge at undisputedfitness.com, and hit them up with an email if you got questions about that, if that's something you're interested in. And the guys at the Float Clinic, steady, just hooking up really great service down there. And I hope they franchise, man. What a rad time that is. And saw Albert last Saturday and floated, and it's just a magical journey. I don't do drugs, but I like to put myself in positions that are drug-like, and that's certainly one of them. And it's dope. It's really a great thing if you haven't tried it. Any immersion tanks or anything like that. And CavemanCoffee.com. Check us out there. And onit.com. Thanks for helping out, and some big collabos coming, and 10thplanetjujitsu.com, 10thplanetjj.com, at 10thplanetjj, at the real Eddie Bravo.
Instagram? Yeah.
As opposed to the fake one that's out there, and shame on you, sir, whoever that is.
There's a bunch of fake ones.
And it's a beautiful day here in the valley. It's before it gets cripplingly cancerous hot, and the sky is filled with chemtrails.
Don't be silly. We're by an airport, Tait. There's no such thing as chemtrails.
Oh man, there's so much to talk about. I get lost. Like, we just went up to Starbucks, and then we're like, "Fuck, we can't talk about that. No, we're gonna save that." And then it's these weird rides that you have when you're with somebody, and that you love and that you're connected with, and you're like, you want to talk about like whatever comes up at that time, and then you're
Save it for the podcast.
Sitting in silence basically for 20 minutes while you get your pre-business done. It's a weird that those moments before podcasts are kind of surreal. It's like you're in another world.
Don't talk.
Yeah, don't say that. Shh, no, say that. And then inevitably you forget all that shit that you were saving. Even just
all
like
of it,
simple shit like whether the sky being filled with chemtrails or whatever you want to call them, and then like all the businesses. That's what I was really interested in. Is when I marvel at places, man, especially in LA, and like what rents are and shit. And I look at us, I'm like, they sell lampshades there. That's all they sell is lampshades. And then I go back through my history and I go, when have I ever been in the market for a lampshade ever? I've never bought one without a lamp attached to it. And here's a guy that pays $15,000 a month or whatever for a fucking shop on La Cienega where he sells lampshades, and he's thriving. I don't really get it. But then I look at when we bent the corner up here on Van Nuys, and there's that big, huge. It's probably gonna be a car dealership or something, but like the kind of millions of dollars that it takes to keep a place vacant, let alone excavate it, build it, and like it's amazing what goes into it. And then you said something about the corporate aspect of everything being owned by oil and pharmacological companies.
Well, man, it's crazy. Being in the martial arts business, you're always looking at empty spaces in mini malls and stuff like that. And I always know whether I'm looking for a school or not. I'm always checking out what businesses fail and which ones thrive. And I'm really I pay attention to that. And in my own neighborhood, you see the same. We see a spot where a new restaurant goes up, and then it goes down, and then another one goes up, and then it goes down, and then another one goes up, and you know it's going to fail because they all fail. And then what?
And they're all restaurants.
Yeah. But you know what finally stays?
What?
Well, you turn that restaurant into a Chase Bank. That motherfucker ain't going to close. It's like you see them little Chase banks opening up everywhere in LA. They're moving into the spots that where other businesses have failed over and over and over again. They just take it over.
What happened
that and and pharmacies.
That's right. We just parked in front of a pharmacy to go to Starbucks.
There's pharmacies everywhere.
And don't you guys say shit about so we went to Starbucks. Maybe there was a sweet, delicious beverage there that we had to get. Whatever. Doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Caveman Coffee #.
Oh, that's right. He only had he didn't have a Java chip Frappuccino, and that's what I wanted.
With whipped cream.
Yes.
I had everything except for the whipped cream, but whatever.
Grass-fed whipped cream.
You know what I had the other day, dude, is cream of coconut, which they take all the meat of the coconut, they put it in a press, and they mash the shit out of it, and it's like a whipped cream almost. It is fucking amazing. They have it down at Kippy's on Lincoln in Venice.
Coconut.
It's amazing. It's
I
amazing.
love coconuts.
And then, anyway, those when you talk about those businesses opening and closing and opening and closing, and then something sticking.
Then a pharmacy's going to stay, and that's it. It's not going to close down. Like a CVS or Walgreens, Rite Aid. They just take it over. And banks. Banks will just take right over. There was a restaurant on Ventura.
Somebody had told me, what did you know about this? About last night, I'm trying to download Shine from my iTunes. And it comes back that my credit card's no good, and I call them up, and what's the deal? Oh, well, you got some gas out near Coachella. And I go, okay, I got gas. And then I'm like, so, yeah, okay, we'll take the hold off your card now. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I use it for gas and iTunes. That's it. Like, it's not like it's a new charge. But then I'd heard that they were completely hacked, that it wasn't just Target or whatever that got hacked, that they hacked all the banks. And so all the banks are continually checking. I don't know if you've noticed that.
That happens to me too.
Okay, so somebody's saying that they don't want to talk about it, that all the banks have been hacked, and that there's a huge fucking security problem that's going on, and now they're just checking with more prevalence everybody's shit. And if that's like, if everybody's in danger and that, if the very banks are under attack, like, I don't know if it's some anonymous shit or anything, but you're my favorite conspiracy guy. I was wondering if you'd heard anything like that.
No, I haven't. But it isn't a bad thing if they're checking,
Right.
It's not like we have to pay for it anyways, though. I mean, because if our card does get stolen, we can prove that it wasn't us, don't we get our money back?
If it's a credit card, yes.
Yeah. If
you're in a debit card, I think you're fucked if they drain you out.
If we were responsible for the money, they would not be checking.
So they're working on a way to make it so that you are responsible. They've got to be.
Yeah, they're having meetings about that right now.
So how long are you off Metamoris right now? We got to have that Metamoris talk. I met with Kenny Florian yesterday.
Oh, really?
2 days ago. 2 days ago.
Where?
Down at Hugo's in Santa Monica.
You just ran into him there randomly?
No, we did a podcast together.
He did yours or you did his?
He did mine. I don't think he has one. I think he's on TV enough. He doesn't.
Well,
I don't know. Maybe he does.
What did he have to say?
He's getting married in October,
Nice.
Mm-hmm. He was shocked, and he was shocked about the breakdown afterwards.
Oh, the Gracie breakdown?
Yeah. And then he talked to which one is it that doesn't do the breakdown? There's Halleck, Henner.
Halleck does the breakdown every now and then, but it's generally Huron and Henner.
Right. And so Halleck was like, no, I didn't agree at all. I thought it was too harsh. And I'm like, well, then apparently that's, now this is third-party gossip from me. But
I read that.
I
read that.
And why don't you write that all over Twitter then? Go ahead and put that out there, dude, if that's what you feel,
Yeah, but Halleck has done some stuff to, I think he made the decision to be more mindful of his business than his family. Yeah, he thought, I think, because at first Halleck was definitely doing the family thing. At first, he put up on the Metamoris Instagram a picture of Hoyler on top of me, choking me with his hands, and and
that's
making
him
it seem,
that.
Make
that's
it
his shit.
Yeah, making it seem like
Gracie Magazine.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, exactly. It was the exact same thing that Gracie Mag did, and then he just got slaughtered with the comments. And then when Joe finally commented, he posted that picture on Twitter. Then Halleck pulled it, boom, right there. And then Halleck tried to do some damage control, and he put up a picture of me, doing something good and praising me, which is cool. And I'm not against that, but then
I'm not against that.
Yeah, but then he had to take that one down too, because Hoyler and Hoist got mad at him for doing that. So he's in between.
Can you imagine? I wonder what his text messages were.
I don't know what the text messages were, but that's what happened. He ended up pulling that one down. So
were they public about it on Instagram?
No, they just pull shit down and they don't talk about it. Yeah. But so you can see that Halleck was trying to do the right thing, but then got too much heat from his family. So he's stuck in the middle right there. He's I could understand that it's the family. It's I think Henner and Huron, they're just gonna take it right on the chin for their family. They knew they can't be that dumb where they don't know what they're doing. They know that what they're saying is ridiculous. They know that. They're just doing, it's almost like for the family, we're going to take a hit on our integrity, for the family.
It's the only guy, though, that could be, mounted completely in defensive mode for the whole match, never score points, and win. You know what I mean? Like, his defense was so great, he just won. It's that's crazy.
Yeah.
And so it's like when you're coming from a family where you get, considered that way by whatever referee happens to be there or whatever, or because there's going to be such heat from your family to the referee that will be the case. Like that's I mean, I don't know. You're it's kind of like being a hot chick in a way. It's like you're the super hot chick. You don't have any idea what it's like to get treated regularly by a waiter or by the car dealership guy or fucking by a guy that pulled in front of you and like you don't fucking know. Like you have no idea.
The only heat they get is from other chicks because they're jealous.
Right.
But guys,
right,
they're treated like a celebrity. But the thing that Huron and Henner said that was just totally ridiculous, and maybe they forgot that. If someone would have reminded them that Huron's match with Andre Galvao did not pass the helio filter, because he's saying that when I pulled quarter guard, that they were reviewing the match, but when I pull quarter guard, it doesn't pass the helio filter because I can get smashed in quarter guard. If Hoyler wanted to punch me, he could have smashed me. First of all, why do you even bring that up when Huron let Andre Galvao mount him and get side control, and he let him pass his guard and let him have north-south? Like, I think, when you say something and you don't really, before you say it, you should play the other side and figure out what can they say? What can they say? What can they say about what I'm about to say? Ooh, I can't say that because they could always say that. You got to think about it. You got to think it through, and I don't think they thought it through, because I would way rather be in quarter guard on the bottom than have a guy mount me or have north south or side control. Like, what are you even talking about? So that was the most retarded thing they said in that breakdown. They didn't even have the technique right or anything. The technique was all off, and they just. But
I saw a lot of people's personal breakdowns that they did with it. What's his name? The Australian dude. He was on that too, and I was like. He's not really even understanding what a lockdown is or what. Like, it's crazy ridiculous. How little the jiu-jitsu is that a lot of top name jiu-jitsu guys.
Yeah, even Boz did a breakdown of the vaporizer, but he was doing a calf crank from the truck, which it's not a calf crank from the truck. It's totally different. But he thought it was, so that's how he broke it down. Okay. So and then there was another guy showing the lockdown, and it wasn't even a lockdown. He couldn't even get the lockdown right. It was totally off.
He's off the outside like a grapevine, like some kind of strange grapevine type deal.
Yeah, and it's crazy. And then you got guys who are used to be part of the system and then are not part of the system anymore. And then now they're claiming that they've always been 10 Planet for Life and all that.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
It's always my favorite when I see a new white belt that just got into jiu-jitsu and they're like, Gracie Baja for life. I'm like, really? Because I don't feel like you have the years. The years or maybe decades that it would take for you to be able to say something like that. You know what I mean? It's like, let's watch you with scrutiny, sir, and see what happens.
Yeah.
That's interesting. There's a lot of that on the 10WO thing for sure. There's some fucking watchdogs out there, though. That's not slipping through.
Kenny Florian wrote a blog, I think.
Oh, dude, he wrote a thing for Fox Sports or something.
Yes.
It was so nice. It was like, oh, here's a really cogent and objective viewpoint of what happened. Yeah. And it's like, and it was so good, man. Yeah, it was nice.
Can you imagine?
I got a question.
Yeah.
And I asked him, and he didn't have an answer, and I wanted to ask Scott, but I forgot about it when I saw him at your after party. And that was why so the rules there are that if it goes for 20 minutes and somebody's caught in a submission attempt, that the man has an opportunity to escape and the man has an opportunity to finish that submission, and that the time will go on until one of those two things happens. Is that not correct?
That is correct, but what happened was I had him in that vaporizer for over 3 minutes, and his knee was just popping all the shit. I did things to his leg that I've never even come close to doing to anybody's leg. Everybody taps to that move, and I don't even have to do all the stuff I did, like twisting the foot, putting the foot under my armpit. I don't even think I could do that to anybody before they would just scream in pain, you know. So when I knew when there was a minute left, I knew that I'm just going to give it my all. Like at the 30-second mark, I was just trying to turn his foot right into his ass. I was just twisting that thing all the way up his ass. And if he didn't tap there, there's no way he was going to tap. So if the match would have continued, then I would have just let him go, and then it would have been over anyways.
Yeah, gotcha.
So it didn't even matter. So when the time was over, I'm like, this guy is not going to tap to this. But what saved him is him holding on to my pants. If he didn't hold on to my pants, if he didn't hold on to my right leg, I would have used my right foot to stomp into the inside of my left foot to make that even way tighter. That's how you really finish. That's how you finish the calf cranks from the truck. You don't need it in the vaporizer because there's so much pressure, but it's there if for some crazy reason.
Yeah, he was hanging on like dear life. Like
the pants saved him.
Yep.
The pants saved him. He was.
And that was another thing that a lot of people don't know is that there were different. You guys fought a different fight. One guy was able to do stuff that the other guy was not able to do.
Yeah, he grabbed the shit out of my pants in the very beginning, and from quarter guard, he was grabbing the back of my pants, like pulling them down. You could see my underwear and everything. Thank God they were clean.
Ish.
Can you imagine if I would have had dirty underwear? That would have been embarrassing.
And right in front of your mom.
Rude. Yeah, it was crazy. But
I feel like when I read afterwards too, and like, oh, nothing special. Like he didn't do anything special to me, and I think it's such a wrong move. It's like I understand about family pride and this and that, but like part of being proud of your family is that there's an honesty and an integrity that you can rely on. You know, it's like part of like when you ask me, hey man, I need you to do this, fucking call, text, show up somewhere, do whatever. I'll be like, I know that Eddie's not going to do anything that's going to put me in a bad spot that doesn't need to be like it's something that is righteous. You know what I mean? It's kind of like if you're in the Army and you get sent somewhere right now, you can be pretty sure that you're going to be put in a fuck spot for no good reason, and you're going to be there as a police force for a corporation. I know that that's not going to happen with you. Like that you're not going to put me in a position that is for nothing. You know what I mean? And it's like, and part of that is because you show your ass to everybody. Like it's like, well, it is what it is, and if I'm wrong, I'll say I was wrong or whatever. And there's a trust that you can have as a soldier in that you can really rely on. And the only right move that there would have been is the only obvious move. I think at the end of it, like what my dream would have been Hoyler grabbing your hand and putting it up and be like, I can't wait to learn more jiu-jitsu. This guy, man, I need to know more about this. And jiu-jitsu is one today, and you've seen what it is, and let's let this grow. You know, like that's the right answer. Like there is no other answer. It's like here's two awesome competitors that competed, and one clearly didn't know some of the things that the other, and like, wow, man, if we really shared, it can grow. Instead of this whole idea, which I'd always been turned off by about that kind of old school of jiu-jitsu, is that jiu-jitsu lives in a box, and we're not going to show anybody anything more, and we're not going to share, and we're not going to talk about it, and like I own, like, and that whole kind of Carlinhos thing of like he owns jiu-jitsu or whatever, and it's like it's like a weak scarcity it comes from, it seems like.
Yeah, but I understand where you're coming from, but to me, enough people know what happened where it's good that it was a draw. I like the controversy. And the fact that Hoyler and Hoyce aren't showing me any respect, I like that. I think, you know, it makes people talk about the fight more, you know. And if it wasn't a draw, if I would have got a clean tap, there wouldn't be a need for a third one. And man, we could do this again. So the fact that it was a draw, it's controversial, enough people, my people know I won. That's all that matters. You know, and I'm watching those videos of my students and guys like in Decatur and watching. They just set up a camera. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
They're watching
so
it.
Good.
That was the coolest shit because before, the first thing I wanted to see when I got back home was after the after party. I wanted to see it with the commentary, and I wanted to see Jean-Jacques' reactions when I would pull off a move. That was the most important thing to me. Like, I just wanted to look at his face because you know, in the beginning I couldn't guarantee that people were feeling good about what was going on in the beginning because, you know, I'm in the quarter guard all the time. I asked for it. I pulled quarter guard, but I couldn't get the lockdown for a while, and then I kept him from getting the underhook for a while, but then he eventually got it, so he kind of went up right there just because of the underhook. So
And right there, stopping right there, how fucking beautiful is it that the education of people right now is so huge that a guy can get an underhook and people go nuts because they know what it means. They know that's fucking kudos to the education of the public about jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, when he got the underhook, you hear Gracie people going nuts because that's what he was fighting for 5 minutes. He finally gets the underhook. Now it's looking like 2003. He has a good head and arm. He's super tight with it. He's got a really good clinch. He's strong as fuck. I still don't have the lockdown. Still got quarter guard. Jaws of Life isn't working. And I finally get the lockdown, and my guys just go nuts.
The place erupted.
Yeah, because as soon as I got the lockdown, Jaws of Life did work right there. Got the lockdown. I just gooned my way in with Jaws of Life, got the underhooks, and then it took another about a minute before I hit the first electric chair. And it was like I wanted to calm everyone down. You know what I mean? It's like, check this out. I just want to make everyone feel good. And I knew it would make them feel good.
Relax, guys. We're going to go. We got this.
Yes. Because, man, it would be a different world right now for me and for everyone involved in 10th Planet. If I would have got my ass kicked, like if he would have just ran through me, it would be a different fucking world right now. I might be in Africa right now, like Dave Chappelle trying to find myself.
I thought I had it, but
really easily. This life right now, we're sitting here. Very easily, this life could have been really different for me. And the one thing I'll never forget, man, like Jean-Jacques is just like,
what a poker face he's got, man.
He's like he's a superhero, and just. Everything he says is gospel. And, man, one of the first days of training camp, he was walking upstairs. I was in his gym, and his office is upstairs. And as he's walking upstairs, he could look down on the whole gym in the mat area. So as he's walking up, he goes, "You think?" And I'm like sitting there. He goes,
"You're sitting on the mats."
Yeah, it was when everyone was gone. And it was the end of a training session.
So you're there drenched in sweat thinking about training.
I'm sitting on my ass. He's going up the stairs, and he goes, "Hey," because you think your life changed after the first time you beat him. Wait till you beat him again. And then he walked up, and I just thought, man, like my first thought was like, don't be so confident, dude. You sound really confident. I'm not that confident. I don't, like. I didn't believe that when he said that. I just thought.
Is that the first time he said anything like that?
He always says shit like that, but that was the most memorable
Don't you think
moment.
It's like him as a coach too? He's like, I know I'm part of my thing as a coach. I'm building confidence.
Yeah,
I'm planting seeds.
Yeah, he did. I wouldn't have been able to do without him. That's for sure.
So
no
beautiful,
way.
Man.
The stuff that we went through, the ups and downs of training camp. I mean, there was some training days where I got tapped so many times. I was just getting my ass kicked. I mean, because basically every training session was, there'd always be a 1 hour Shark Tank, an hour where there's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 dudes just waiting, licking their chops, and everyone gets 5 minutes at me, and I gotta last an hour. So some of those went pretty good. Some of them there was darkness. There was one time where Sean Bollinger came in with Jeremy and Jared. I had like 4 or 5 black belts in the Shark Tank. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to go against you, but I got 3 other dudes behind you that are even more scary. So I'm not going to do anything with you just so I could save my energy for the guy 4th in line. I got an hour, and we've only done this 10 minutes. I got to go another 40 minutes. So what ends up happening is I don't do shit. And I'm just listless and just totally defensive. And when you roll like that, you let guys just get all sorts of they get all sorts of position on you, and now it's even harder to do anything than the start. And you just keep falling deeper and deeper. And man, I was getting my ass kicked. There was a time where Karan Dorabedian came in, the best guy at Karo's or Hayastan at Gokar's gym. Man, he just fucked me up, man. I was just there was these Shark Tanks where I was just freezing and just not doing anything. I'm just trying to survive. Huh?
Do you wish in that training, or did it change, where you go, you know what, I'm going to attack until I can't attack anymore, and then when I'm tired, I'll go back to that default.
Exactly.
And is that the best way to train now?
Exactly.
Is that what you found out of this?
Several things. That's one of them. I learned that from those nights where I would just get my ass kicked just because I was just listless and I just trying to conserve too much energy. Then when I started doing the swim sprints, then that's when everything changed. Once I started sprinting, I started finally realizing why people do cardio, why professional athletes do cardio. I hadn't competed in a long time, and I haven't done any cardio, and I just do jiu-jitsu and lift weights. That's it. And when I lift weights, I barely break a sweat. My muscles give out before sweat sets in. I break a little sweat, but I'm not drenched in sweat when I hit the weights. So I never really did any cardio. I just do jiu-jitsu and weights. So when I would gas in rolling, I'd say, okay, I've gone as far as I can. Now I'm gassed. I'm going to go the end of this round, survive. And then I'm going to rest for 5-10 minutes and then come back and do it again. I thought that's how I was working on cardio. I thought once you're gassed, you're done. It's over. So let's see how long you could go before you start huffing and puffing. That's your cardio. When did it happen? 8 minutes? 6 minutes? That's how much you got. That's what I was thinking. I didn't realize that is just...
You can live there for a long time.
Yeah, or you recover.
Yeah.
You're supposed to gas several times. Yeah. And every time you gas, you're going to recover in 30 seconds, in 45
All you
seconds.
do is hang on for 30 seconds.
Yeah, just hang on, and you'll get right back. I didn't know that. So when you get to that point, you're huffing and puffing, you think it's over, and you thinking it's over makes it even worse.
Well, that's why I was saying about the training,
Yeah.
about like the thing, like if I go and I go, okay, I'm going to be defensive because fuck, Jared's number 3 or whatever.
Yeah.
And but then that goes into your consciousness.
Yeah.
And then you've already decided that you've lost. And
Yes.
so now you're already,
Yes.
you're already
Yes.
on your heels
Yes.
emotionally as an athlete, where you need to have confidence that you're going to smash these guys.
Yeah, man. And these killers, these are guys that you got to, if I want to do good against Jared or Sean Bollinger, it's got to be a one-on-one thing, no Shark Tank.
Right.
I got to be fresh.
Right.
And, you can't have a Shark Tank with all those dudes.
Yeah.
They're just too good, and you can't fall into a defensive, listless mode. And I do that. I do that sometimes. I'm just trying to survive. So what I learned from that is two things. To do your best, you have to have your cardio down where you can recover, you trust yourself. So when you gas, the goal is to gas as many times as you can because you're going to recover every single time. Every single time you're just going to keep recovering. So if you only gas once, you didn't do shit.
You didn't even try.
You didn't even do shit. You just gassed once. You attacked him once.
Yeah.
You're supposed to gas a bunch of times. And I always wondered how these guys are doing it because you'd see George St. Pierre against Johnny Hendricks. He was gassed in the first round and then the second round. And I would think, it's over. It's over. He's done. Look, he's already gassed. There's no way he's going to recover. And I would think if he recovered, that's your second win. I didn't know there was 10 wins, 12 wins. There's a bunch of wins. You just keep going over and over again. And you learn that from sprinting. So when I did the swim sprints, I would swim across the pool. And remember, on my way to the pool, when I finally decided to do swim sprints, I called you up and I called Einstein up and I go, I'm on my way to the pool. What should I do? Right. I didn't know what the fuck I was going to do. How am I going to do this? Because I know I didn't want to run. I thought swimming would be the best. It's your full body. So I just got there and I looked, there was a big ass clock. And I said, okay, let me see how long it takes to sprint across this pool. I jumped in the pool, sprinted across it. It took about 20 to 25 seconds, something like that. So I thought, okay, it's 20 minutes. I'm going to do one sprint for every round. And then as soon as the clock hits the 12, I'm going to go. And whatever's left in that minute, I'm going to rest on the other side until it hits 12 again. Boom. So doing that, you don't need someone to push you to go fast because I'm trying to rest as much as I can. So, and I don't need anybody to tell me to sprint because I'm sprinting so I can make sure I get at least 30 seconds to rest. Because if I go slow and I have 10 seconds to rest, that's not going to accomplish shit. Yep. I want a lot of rest. So you sprint to get rest. So what ends up happening is by the 10th sprint, dude, I'm thinking about quitting. I can't. I'm huffing and puffing hard, like. And you got to turn that you got to fix that shit in 30 seconds. And lo and behold, by like 10 seconds left, by that clock's on the 10, then it's on the 11. You let's go again.
Yeah, all right, Daddy.
And you're
Here we
fucking
go.
doing. So what you end up learning, I end up learning is, wow, I could do this. I could recover 20 fucking times. I got to do my jiu-jitsu like this. So the combination of learning that in jiu-jitsu and then bringing that in and then getting my ass kicked, in the Shark Tanks and rolling with Jean-Jacques is like killing me, no matter if I was fresh or not.
Is that the hardest you've rolled with Jean-Jacques in a long time?
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
He must have turned it. The excitement he must have felt like, here's his guy, and it's maybe arguably the biggest, most important jiu-jitsu match ever. And that he's a part, like, he must have been psyched up like he's almost competing.
Oh, yeah. He was so into it, man. He had so much. He was so emotionally invested into it. He had to win. Because, remember, he was Gracie Baja outcast before I was.
Yeah.
He was the original one. Him and Carlinos already had a falling out. So, me being his student, that makes... I was already in the doghouse with Carlinos, already, from day one. Just the fact that I was Jean-Jacques' student.
Is everybody I know that's, like, really solid, like, they all have a falling out with him. You have to kind of give, you know what I mean? It's like really, like, the best dudes are, like nobody's going to put up with that, like, the kind of tyranny that dude puts out. It's crazy.
Yeah, you always hear about...
It's crazy.
In jiu-jitsu, when you
That's why
start
if I
out,
see somebody still under that flag, I always question them a little bit. Okay.
Well, when you get into jiu-jitsu, you always hear about dudes leaving other schools because of the politics,
right.
or someone came to this school. I don't mess with the politics. I just come and train. I always thought that when they said that they meant it as a metaphor. I didn't know they actually meant that it really is politics. It is like real politics because you have the people in power, Gracie Mag, or Gracie Baja, and they're running the media. Gracie Mag, Carlinos owns Gracie Mag, so they're running the media. It's just like, and then there's a cover up. I clearly dominated Hoyler Gracie, and then there's a cover-up. I became a conspiracy theory. I am. I'm Tower 7.
Well, and you always were.
Yeah.
I mean, I like, you travel different places, and you see that, like, if you go into different schools that aren't affiliated with us, like, they're like, oh, well, we tried some of that rubber guard stuff, but it doesn't really work. I'm like, listen, if you suck and you're trying to do rubber guard to another guy that doesn't know anything, of course, there's answers to that because you guys both suck. If you're doing something wrong, it's easy to have, just posture up for sure. Okay, here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to sit and chill dog. Go ahead and just posture up, homie. See how far that gets you, like, with me hanging off your shoulder. Like, it's not happening. Like, that's not, and so there's like that. That's why I meant, like, it would have been a great coup for jiu-jitsu for Hoyler to be like, oh my God, to just go into that. Like, let's explore that, man. Here, there's, I don't know how many thousands of us that are exploring this every day. And you can go in there and go, wow, here's people that have really taken all the rough edges off these techniques and they're looking at it. And then you could learn, how good would your jiu-jitsu get?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the crazy part is, like, is the goal that we all want to get better and we want this beautiful art form to flourish? Or do I want to own it and have this little tiny secular house that I live in? And so my world's only this big. That's the saddest part of it, And I think that was the most enriching part for me, like meeting you in I don't know if it was 04 or 06. It was like maybe 04 maybe. It was right when you opened your school. It was like months after you opened at Bomb Squad. And I just go, I remember the first class, and I remember I don't know if I talked to you or left a message, but I was like, the walls have come off of jiu-jitsu for me. Like, it doesn't live in this little room. I'm like, this is a fucking amazing. And that's the biggest thing of it. And taking components from all over and going, let's see what works. Let's run it through.
Can you imagine if Hoyler like put up some pictures on his Instagram of him practicing the electric chair and giving a thumbs up. Like he had an electric chair and he had a thumbs up, or a vaporizer. You know what I mean? And he's like this. That would be super
Had one of your
cool.
shirts.
Yeah. How cool would that be?
That'd be
You'd be
awesome.
like, dude, Hoyler's fucking cool as fuck.
Yeah.
Right.
And you know what?
That's something Henzo would do. Henzo would do.
You want to
that.
lose fans? You would only gain the world.
Yeah.
And you know that angst that you got in your chest right now, homie? You'd be able to breathe. It would just all go away. And you'd be like, God, there is unity here.
Yeah.
Instead, you're creating like this partisanship bullshit. Like that doesn't exist, except if it does in your head. And that is, Henzo commented, I put some shit on my Instagram, and Henzo commented on it. And, dude, God bless Henzo Gracie, man. That guy, he's one of the best dudes in the world, isn't he?
Absolutely.
Man.
And when, we every now and then Gracie Baja comes up, there's wonderful people involved in Gracie Baja. Budo Jake, he's a Gracie Baja guy. I love that guy. When Gracie Baja gets brought up, it's generally the guys at the top, the guys that clearly don't like me. There's only
a handful.
Yeah, there's only a couple.
We're only talking about 3 or 4 guys here.
Yeah.
Like, like that whole family. Thank God for the Gracie family, and thank God for all the work, and thank God that there's the flavors of Hickson and Henzo and Helf and everybody out there, and Ryan, rest in peace, and all that stuff that is out there that is really pushed that whole art form into a whole nother level, and so that we all can enjoy it.
And then Rose Gracie, how she's not only the coolest Gracie of them all, but she's just one of the coolest people on the planet. I want to deal with people like that. When it comes to people like Hoyler or Hoyce, they're great competitors, they're legends, but I have no interest in pursuing an intimate relationship with either of them. Like, not at all. I don't want to hang out with them. I know we're on different frequencies. I couldn't hang with those guys. They're just think on a whole different level than I do. I don't think like they do. Obviously, I know enough about them that I can respect them as competitors, but I want to hang out with Rose Gracie. I want to hang out with Henzo. You know what I mean? I want to hang out with Marcelo Garcia. I want to with people that are on my frequency, people that have their ego under control and that can talk about embarrassing things that have happened to them and don't feel like they have to put up this macho front all the time. I don't want to hang out with people like that. Whether your last name is Gracie or Smith or Johnson, I don't care what your last name is. If you have if your ego has a knee on the belly on you and is just controlling you, I don't want to have anything to do with you on a personal level. I'm sorry.
And on that note, too, great to see Crone at your after party.
Yeah, Crone.
You know what I mean? It's like, this isn't like a Gracie beef. It's like there's a couple of jerks that are short-sighted and small-minded. And you can't put that a name on it, Like I see a lot of these guys, and dudes on my Instagram, and please don't, like when you're like, oh, they're just like this or that. It's just as like you might as well be generalizing about any kind of person, because it's not that way. It's a couple specific instances, and that's it, man. Because there's a lot of Gracie love out there too, like you're saying,
Yeah, absolutely, man. So just to make that clear, I love Henzo, I love Rose. I love Crone. Crone's awesome.
Yeah.
And Hickson's always been cool. He's never been a dick. It's only a couple of them. And you know what? Even Henner and Huron, they're really nice to me. They're really nice to me. It's just that Gracie breakdown. It was retarded. But other than that, they've been cool. They're not that bad. And you know what? Maybe they knew it was retarded. They knew exactly that they were just going in there and they were going to take a hit on their integrity. They got to know that. They can't be that dumb. I mean, the comments that they're getting left and right. Look at the comments on the Gracie Breakdown YouTube video. Look at those comments. Jesus Christ. They're just getting crucified, but I think they knew they were going to get that coming in. They can't be that dumb. They just just said, fuck it. We're going to do this for our family, and we're going to try to spin this as much as we can, and we're going to take a hit, and we're going to lose some fans.
Big hit.
But we're doing it. It's for a good cause.
I think that's the wildest thing is about it is, like, when you do a breakdown, like if I were going to be of the mind where I'm like, I'm going to put a breakdown on jiu-jitsu out there. What I'm saying is that I'm not Joey Diaz, it would be funny. I'm a guy that's saying I'm an expert, and I'm going to go ahead and put my expert opinion and stamp on this video and what's on this breakdown. And kind of what they did by doing that breakdown was go, I'm an amateur and I really don't even know what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
In a way, you know what I mean? It's like you've dirtied your own good name. Like, and that's the crazy thing is like, I think that's the trouble with being a part of a gang. If you're part of a gang that is controlled by ego and scarcity, then in that gang, you have to side with it regardless. This dude raped your sister. Well, he's part of the gang. You know,
Yeah,
I'm honest.
yeah.
And so there's all that shit that goes on. And I feel like that's kind of what it is. You know what I mean? I feel like Hoist would easily be a TSA agent. Like, he's got no scruples, really. You know what I mean? He would sign up for whatever, like, oh, it feeds my family. He doesn't care if it's putting people in cars to go into the concentration camp. It's like, oh, it's just my job. You know what I mean? It's like, it's that kind of a yes man that would just be like, whatever happens, boss, I'll do. And it's like, and that's the thing is like, I think there's cults everywhere. Jiu-jitsu's culty for sure. CrossFit's culty. Fucking all these things are culty. There's some good cults and there's bad cults. You got to look at how the cult is run. Is it run with complete exposure, transparency? Everybody look at everything we do. Please break it down for us. You know what I mean? Or is it run with like, no, we can't talk about this. The minute you start hearing that shit, that's when you know, I got to look at, like, maybe this isn't the best place to be. You know, but if there's complete exposure and everything's out in the open, you're like, yeah, man, this is fucking, I ride for this brand. This is my shit. And I'm in this. And that's a different thing than what we're seeing there. And I think that's like old ideas because it's people that don't know. Oh, it's like, I heard a guy and he's like a really good friend, but super negative, has all like that's his character is like not his character, but it's like a persona of his, right? Mm-hmm. And he's like, I want to start a t-shirt company, and it's going to be for these fucking CrossFit assholes. And he hates CrossFit, hates everything about it. But I'm like, your face has to be on that. People are going to know that. And he's like, no, I'll just put a face on it. But in today's world, like with Twitter, with podcasts, with Facebook, we're connected in such a way that like a company like Nabisco couldn't even come up anymore. They have to hang on to those old ideas more because you got to have a face on it. For like, we're so grassroots. I think now the more technologically we get advanced, we're more and more grassroots now. Like you can't hide behind the faces of shit anymore. Yeah,
and a couple other Gracies that are awesome. Carlson Gracie. When I beat Hoyler the first time.
What happened
at a UFC, man. I had never met Carlson Gracie before. I never met him, and of course I know who he is. And he was in, I think,
this is Carlson Sr.
Carlson Sr.
Jesus Christ, Eddie.
God rest his soul. We were at the UFC. It's by the floor, by the cage.
How far
it's
after
packed.
this was this?
It was right after 2003 Abu Dhabi, and I think he was cornering Stephan Bonner. I think so.
Probably. That's
he was right there on the floor. He came up to me, dude. I passed by him. He came up to me and gave me a big hug. Carlson Gracie. He gave me a big hug, and he goes, thank you for beating Hoyler. Like, I don't think he liked him too much, but he went out of his way to hug me and squeeze me and said, thank you. Wow. You know what I mean? Carlson Gracie's awesome. All the guys from Carlson Gracie's camp have been really, really super cool. Ricardo Laborio, super cool. Like, one of the, like, just crazy cool. Carlson Gracie camp. Alan Goas. Dude, really? That guy is just like, dude, every time I see Alan Goas, he just gives me a big hug. He's so cool, man, so awesome. And Valid? Are you kidding me? Valid is the coolest.
Are you kidding?
He's the coolest guy on the planet. Oh. He's the coolest guy. Valid is so damn cool. So the whole Carlson Gracie, Alan Goas, Valid, and
I'd love to hear what Valid's had to say about Hoist afterwards.
You know what? I will say this, though. He did say that all that high-end Gracie stuff is all in the past, and he doesn't want to talk about it no more. Now he's a businessman. Now he's all about the future of MMA, and he didn't want to talk about any of that. That was in the past. So he really didn't want to talk about any of that. He goes, he's actually one of the coolest guys I've ever met, man. Valid is
he
awesome.
Still doing jungle fights?
Yes. I'm pretty sure he is. And then Clark Gracie, another super cool guy.
I was super impressed by him too, his performance.
Yeah, he did pretty well against Hoffa. And I met him in ADCC in Beijing. Super cool. I mean, so I just want to make that sure, like we said before, just make it nice and crystal clear. I'm not against Gracie's or anything. It's just, Hoist hates me, and I think that's pretty cool. He's like arguably the biggest martial arts legend ever.
And also,
ever.
Could we say the reason that you got interested in jiu-jitsu? I mean, like back in the day, like you looking at him on the UFC and going, "Oh, I'd like to do this jiu-jitsu."
Absolutely, it was Hoist Gracie that got me into jiu-jitsu.
Like, isn't that crazy? Like when an original hero of yours,
that
is the reason that you're where you are, in a huge part.
He's the reason. He
Like,
hates me.
You are from his early fights. You are the expression of a manifestation of a guy whose life became your life because of that.
Yes.
And then
he hates me.
It's such a crazy twist.
Yeah, and it's all on video, man.
And he doesn't even get it.
It's all on video. Dude, it's all on video.
No. The thing is,
the
when he came up to you,
yes.
no.
Dude, I had camera crew shadowing me the whole event. So when
I wish I'd have been outside.
Yeah, it's all on video. I think multiple cameras. Yeah, it's all on video. It's all coming out too.
It's going to be a great master in the system.
Hey, yeah, it's pretty surreal, man. It really is. I mean,
it had to like you say, oh, it's the best thing. I'm glad they're hating me or whatever, or this or that. But it's like there had to be. That's a process that you've gone through. Like there had to be where you're. I mean. Maybe not to tears, but maybe to tears, like where it's like, "Fuck, man, really?" Like,
well, you know what?
Like,
I've gone through this so many years, dude. It's been so many years of this that I've really learned to appreciate it. Like, because let's say that in 2003, when I opened up 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu, and I said, I dropped the gi because I thought, okay, the first mission for 10th Planet is to fix what's wrong in MMA. That's going to be the first mission. That's why we were so bottom heavy, and not in a good way.
Yeah.
We went over basics. We went very little defense because defense wasn't the problem in MMA. People weren't getting
guys down.
Yeah, people weren't getting. If jiu-jitsu guys were getting tapped in the UFC left and right, it would be Operation Defense. Let's get our defense together. But that wasn't the problem. The problem was jiu-jitsu guys were losing on their back. They didn't have no half guard. They didn't have any full guard. It was very weak. So my mission was, you know what? All you other jiu-jitsu affiliations, you don't want to help me out. I'm trying to help us all out here. You want to stick to winning the no-gi worlds or the mundials, you could do that. That's cool. I have nothing wrong with that. You guys could worry about that, worry about advantages and all that. But I wish you guys would help me and we could all work together and fix this shit because this is really bothering me. But instead of the Brazilian jiu-jitsu community, the powers that be, instead of going, you know what, this little American is making a point, and all they needed was a meeting and just said, they would have all just said, why are we attached to this Japanese outfit? We love this Japanese outfit so much. You know what? Let's all go pure no gi. And you know what? If you want to keep wearing the gi, you can wear the gi on the side. But our main focus is going to be, he's right. If they would have all agreed,
that was money.
If they would have agreed on me, they just didn't. They just didn't want to hear it. Do
you think it's tradition though, or money? Like keeping, you know what
all
I mean?
of it. It's all of it. But if they would have agreed with me back then, there wouldn't be a 10th Planet. So I have to appreciate that. Like the fact that there was, that there was a resistance, and the resistance remained strong. It just makes it clear what I'm doing. So I look at it now. I really do. I'm not trying to blow smoke up my own ass. I look at it like, I'm not looking for hate, but if you want to hate, it only blows my shit up. So keep hating. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing regardless. You guys can help me because I really am trying to help jiu-jitsu. That's what it's all about, just improving jiu-jitsu. And you're trying to hold on to a Japanese outfit. I don't know what to tell you. That's like wrestlers trying to hold on to singlets. You don't see wrestlers trying to hold on to singlets. Can you imagine Dan Gable getting pissed off at his fighters for going to MMA and not wearing a singlet? You know, can you imagine that? Like, you're not wearing a singlet anymore? You're going to grapple without a singlet? You were raised in a singlet, man. Don't forget where you came from.
Or if they didn't train in it. Like, you're not going to train in that?
Yeah.
Like, I need you to have headgear on and a singlet every time you
show
train.
respect.
Like, I get caught in chokes more if I have that headgear on. I don't care. That's what we do.
Yeah. It's the exact same thing.
It's crazy.
But obviously Americans don't look at grappling as a religion. To American wrestlers, it's not a religion. I guess it sort of could be maybe looked at that way, but not in a way where they're wearing certain things, like the singlet is like a sacred robe. And if you said something bad about the singlet, you can get beat up for that. Don't you dare. He was talking shit on the singlet, because at first Hoy says that he, because the whole incident in the back, I'm throwing up. And I hear a voice behind me as I'm throwing up. So I'm glad you say good things about my family, because I just got off the stage, just completely
a beautiful soliloquy about I'm a Gracie. I come from Gracie's. I thank you and thank my master. Like it was lovely what you said. Yep.
So I hear a voice behind me saying, I'm glad that you said good things about my family. And I turned around.
And you're on your knees.
Yeah, I'm like bent over.
3-point stance.
I'm like kind of bent over, and I look up. And it's Hoist Gracie. And at that point, when someone says something like that, maybe a handshake will follow, or maybe a hug, or maybe a punch. Think about it. Say, I'm glad you said good things about my family. Hug can be, you can say, okay, or a handshake.
But it's a tense moment where something needs to happen where it's like, hey.
But then he goes, because you used to talk shit on my family before. And then I said,
tell me about the tone of
Did
his voice.
you just hear what I just said?
He goes, I'm glad you say good things about my family. And then did his voice get like, because he used to not say good, like
not like Tom Araya, but not like Slayer, but he it was definitely, there was no hug about to follow that.
There,
no.
Yeah.
So then I raised my voice and I said, dude, what are you talking about? Why do you keep saying this? And then he goes, don't raise your voice, don't disrespect me, or something like that.
Especially you had to have a feeling too that after there's all this talk and everybody's got their opinions and all the white belts that are chattering about whatever before you have the fucking event. Now the event has happened and you're done. You expect all that to wash away, and here's a guy that's a pinnacle figure that's bringing this up.
Yeah, and can you imagine how I feel? I'm throwing up. I'm totally exhausted. I poured my heart out on stage.
Right.
And now I got to hear this again.
Poured yourself out physically, then poured your heart out. Then there's just thank yous and love and connection, and then that.
Yeah. So he gets in my face. Jean-Jacques separates us, and then it was like that was that. They pulled him away or whatever, and saying some stuff in Portuguese or whatever.
That's hilarious. Knowing that you don't speak Portuguese, but he's gonna cuss you in Portuguese as he talks away.
I don't know, because maybe him and Jean-Jacques were saying. I don't remember quite well. I haven't seen the video, so I haven't seen the video yet. But we have it. But the camera crew has all it. They're all editing it and all that stuff. Good. There's 2 or 3 angles. There's a couple guys with video with it. So, anyways, he's saying that I talk shit on his family. And in interviews he's saying that. But now he's saying, because he can't find anywhere where I talk shit on the Gracies, that it's not in any podcast or interview. It's nowhere. In my books, all I do is praise the Gracies. So now he's saying that, because I was trying to get to the bottom of it. What did I say? Where did I say it? Who said it to you? Who told you this? Don't just say that. Let's get to the bottom of it. Who said it? So now he's saying that what I said was that he heard in Australia that...
Wow.
That he heard in Australia...
He's going intercontinental.
He heard from someone in Australia when he did a seminar that someone told him that I said that I clean my mats with geese. So,
that's hilarious.
Wait a minute. First I talk shit on your family. Then now the story
it's
is...
a problem.
Now, first of all, I never said that. And that's just a complete lie. Because first he's saying that it's his family that I was talking shit on. Then he has no proof of that, so he's got to change the story to, someone told me in Australia that I said I cleaned my mats with the gi. So he's full of shit. I never said that. He's lying.
Hoist is so gi.
Yeah. And the crazy thing about it is he does not want to have a jiu-jitsu match with me.
No, he wants to fight you, right?
He wants to do, and not only does he want to fight Vale Tudo, I'm not a jiu-jitsu fighter, I'm a Vale Tudo fighter, but he wants to fight a no time limit fight. You might as well just say it has to be on Mars. Like, where is there an MMA event with no time limit? Where is there an MMA event that does things like that? Where are you going to do that? Oh, I'm going to go to...
And then there's a couple things about that for me. That is just a guy that's going, I wish people were talking about me. I can't believe they're just talking about my brother Hoyler. He's been out of the spotlight. Now he's back in the spotlight. I'd like to be in a spotlight. Okay, awesome. So then you come back and you're going to threaten a guy that's 20, 30, 40 pounds lighter than you, that just worked a guy who's way better at you than jiu-jitsu, and he just got worked by him. And so now I'm going to up the ante and say, okay, I want to punch. But I need to punch in an organization. If he really was down for that cause, he would have been lighting you up right there when you turned around. Do you know what I mean? It's like, so you don't really want, it's only about your own selfish aggrandizement and your own ego. Or else we would have fought in the parking lot. Do you know what I mean? It's like, so you're looking for an event that will never happen. It'll never be sanctioned. The UFC is not interested in you. Like, nobody's interested in that fight. Like, come on. It's like little kid shit.
Yeah, he won't do jiu-jitsu with me. Isn't that incredible?
No, that's of course not.
Come on, he'll only do no time limit Vale Tudo.
Of course not.
Come on, isn't that weird?
No, that's exactly normal. That's a guy that wants to have a chance at what he's going to do. That's a guy that's terrified this way. He's like, I'm going to need to bring out some more tools. What's he not very good at? Okay, he doesn't know how to strike. I'm not very good at that either, but I'm better than him probably. I'll throw that in there. Okay.
I don't know. I don't know what he's thinking, man.
It's crazy.
Maybe we'll end up doing a combat jiu-jitsu match.
That would be hilarious. That would be funny. Dude, that would be funny.
It would be better.
That's the venue that could happen in.
Yeah, that might happen. Who knows?
That would be hilarious. That would be perfect.
Yeah.
Is there going to be any combat jiu-jitsu at the EBI?
Ultimately, that is where it's all leading, is combat jiu-jitsu. It's just really hard to do anything with the commission. The only thing that we have sanctioned with combat jiu-jitsu is it's considered an amateur sport, and all they would give us is three-minute rounds. So it's kind of and it has to be in a cage. The way I want it, ultimately, we'll sit down with the commission and we'll try to get another version of it. I want it to be done on like Metamoris mats, just like that. You know what I mean? Like a mat like that, out in the open, no cage, because you throw. Here's
the problem that comes up right away. Guys aren't very good at wrestling off their feet. They need a cage if they're going to strike to take guys down generally.
But there's no striking standing. It's just wrestling.
Right.
It's just wrestling.
Yeah,
It could work. It could totally work. It'll look better. It'll look way better. And what I want to do is somehow, I'm going to just have to go to these commission meetings and just do what we did before. Me and Turi Altavia, the owner of University of MMA, he's the one who got the first phase in. I ultimately want to do this. I want to get it sanctioned so that we could have 10, 15, or 20-minute combat jiu-jitsu matches on a mat surface like Metamoris, and no gloves, just open hand strikes. We don't need the gloves. Just palm strikes. Grappling with palm strikes to the face.
Okay, so no closed fist.
No, we don't need it. Let's just keep it on mats, and if you want, you could open palm right to the face, just like pancrase.
Can I karate chop? Or only open palm?
You can karate chop.
So I can ridge hand?
Yeah. Why not?
Can I ridge hand with the closed fist?
No.
That's called a hammer fist.
Yeah.
You got to have fingers
open
extended.
Open fist. Just to make it easier for everyone. And it'll be less dangerous. That way it'll get a bigger chance of getting past. Yeah. Say, listen, we're going to even make it, because that was the angle of getting combat jiu-jitsu.
The only illegal shot is you can't cup the ear. You can't, because you could concuss an eardrum.
I didn't know that. If you did that, really?
Yeah, if you could pressurize that to where you'd break a guy's eardrum.
Nothing wrong with that. We're earplugs.
Hey, bravo.
We're earplugs.
Hey, bravo.
No one's eardrums ever got blew up in pancrase.
I guess. I don't know if that
was ever a problem with it. They have to stop the sport.
That's what we'll call boss.
Yeah.
Can you call a boss right now?
That's ultimately what I want. And then we'll call it, it'll be 16-man tournaments of combat jiu-jitsu and be finish only. So you either submit them or you knock them out with hand strikes.
You know what? It just goes.
That would be the most gangster jiu-jitsu tournament ever.
Yeah.
Come on, right?
Yeah. It just
And there'd be less cuts when you slap. There'd be less.
Yeah,
cuts
that's what. Yeah.
You don't want the cuts.
Who's gonna
We just want openings.
Who's pulling guard? Who's brave enough to pull guard in that kind of fight?
Oh, people that are brave enough to pull guard in MMA. I mean, like, it's really, really hard to pull guard in MMA. If it was so dangerous, it would be easy. If it was so dangerous, like suicidal, to pull guard, if you sat on your ass, dudes would just jump in. But when Vinny sits on his ass or Shinya Aoki sits on his ass, no one just jumps in.
No.
Then it's hard to pull guard if you have a dangerous guard.
Yeah.
So then that must mean it's not suicidal. Because if it was suicidal, dudes would go, dude, are you really just going to let me fuck? I'm going to jump in on top. But they're like, no, stand up. Stand up.
Also, though, guys are thinking, like, I can knock this guy out. I'm not trying to wrestle with this guy.
No, even if he lets me get on top. And guys, Vinny's going, he
Come
sits
on
on his ass going, get on top. Even Fabrizio Verdum, when he went with Alistar, he's going, get on top.
Remember that?
Alistar's like, I'm not going to get on top. Why would I do that?
No way. And Alistar even tried to damage, and he could not damage him. From
So
that
it's not
position.
suicidal. So that's another theory that a lot of fighters don't really look that deeply into. They just go by what their jiu-jitsu coach and their MMA school tells them. No, you don't want to be on your back. If you're on your back, you're losing. Like, if you're on your back, you're losing, then that would mean that if your opponent went on his back, you would keep him on his back by getting on top of him. How come no one wants to get on top of dudes that have dangerous guards? I don't understand. If you're on your back, you're losing. That doesn't make any sense. How come when Paul Sass sits on his ass, nobody gets in his guard? They're trying to pull out of his shit. If they're on top of the guard, they're looking for an opening to get out and make him stand up.
Yep.
So how is that suicidal? It doesn't make any sense.
That was the same thing when I didn't pull guard, but I ended up in guard with Scott Smith, and he and that's all I heard his corner. I only heard his corner. Get up, get away from him, get out of there. And it was
you threw up a little mission control in London on him,
yeah,
right?
I think I was in
Meat
maybe I was
hookers?
in New York or going to London, something like that. And then and fucking he was then when he heard how excited they were about him not being there, and he just all he could do to fucking get up, get away, and get away, and I couldn't hold on to him, and I was too new at the system.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's interesting. Yeah, dudes are like, that's a puzzle that we don't want to. And MMA coaches are like, that's a puzzle I don't want to unwind with my guys. To figure that out.
Well, that's part of the problem with the evolution of jiu-jitsu is it's whoever is running the jiu-jitsu program and combined with the head coach of every school. If their guard isn't dangerous on their back, no gi with strikes, then no one else is because what they're going to do instead of that jiu-jitsu coach saying, oh, you know what, rubber guard is the most effective guard in MMA, we all should learn it. They're not going to expose their weakness. They're going to say, in MMA, if you're on your back, you're losing. We get up. We got to just work to get up. So, yeah, that's a good strategy if you're beating him standing. But how about if he's beating you standing? Then you're going to get up? You get up?
Right.
No.
Yeah.
If he's beating you standing and you guys somehow end up on the ground and you're on your back, you want to clinch him. You don't want to get up anymore.
No.
It all depends on the scenario. What if, I mean, there's only a couple worst case scenarios. There's only a couple. You fight a guy who takes you down at will. You can't get up, and he's smashing. You can't get up. That happens. Don't say, you just get up. You could just get up. If you could just get up and you could beat him standing, get up. But if you're paying attention, there's times where people want to get up and they can't get up. What do you do then? That's a worst case scenario. Or you're fighting a guy who's beating you standing and you can't take him down. So either you kickbox him, that's it, because you can't take this guy down.
Jeremy Horn and Chuck Liddell.
Yeah, he couldn't take him down. Of course. What are you going to do? You're stuck striking. Or, one other option is somehow pull guard.
He tried to invite him into the guard a bunch.
I don't remember the fight. He tried.
And then he went blind in that fight, I think. He couldn't see at a certain point.
Yeah.
Chuck had laced him up pretty good. And, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, when you watch that, when you know that, because as an athlete and you look at a guy and you're like, oh my God, he's fucked. He's nervous. He knows he can't strike with him, and then he's desperately trying to take him down, and he can't. You just feel for that dude. You're like, oh, it feels nervous. It's anxiety. It's horrible.
Yeah, but everything's changing. It's slowly, but it is changing because you have it's all about your fight camp, and then you look at the guys. I don't know what the name of the fight camp is, but. It's Brian McLaughlin's boys, Mike Constantino. They got Jim Miller, they got Dan Miller, they got Sean Santella, and then all of a sudden, because their jiu-jitsu coach of that MMA fight team is a rubber guard player, they all play rubber guard. Sean Santel's really good at rubber guard. He's an up-and-coming guy. Same thing with Jim Miller. Jim Miller playing rubber guard all the time. Dan Miller, they play rubber guard all the time. They're playing rubber guard because of Brian McLaughlin. You as an MMA fighter, you're going to do whatever your MMA coach tells you to do. If you're defiant, you could get cut. So you don't want to do that. And plus, there's so much to work on in MMA that if your coach tells you don't need to work on all that guard work, you just need to get up, you're like, are you sure? Okay, thank you, because I don't have time for that shit anyways. There's just too much other shit I got to worry about, right? So they just believe it and want to believe it quick. Okay, we'll just work on getting up. And then you end up in a fight where you get taken down, and your whole strategy is to get back up. And you just keep getting taken down. And half the fight, you're on the fence trying to wall walk, and you're spending all this time trying to get up. And you're just trying to get up, and then he's grabbing your ankles and pulling you back. And you're trying to get up. You're trying to get up. Like Mac Danzig's been in a couple fights like that where he just his number one rule when he's on his back is get up.
Stand up.
And he spent, I don't know how many fights he's done that, maybe at least one or two, where he just spent the whole match trying to get up. And instead of saying, fuck it, he takes me down, I'm going to attack this dude. I'm going to make him regret wanting to take me down. Because if you're just trying to get up, he's not, there's no danger. He's just going to try to take you down again and try to keep you down and hold you tighter. But if he takes you down and you just, even if you pull out of shit, but it was dangerous, like, whoa, I just got out of that triangle, right. That guy's not going to take you down no more.
No.
He's like, fuck that.
That's threatening.
Yeah, it's too much.
Yeah.
So, and it's not hard to get there. It's not that hard if you really want. It takes time and a lot of work, but
is that you fucking need it. Because I'll tell you what, if you get clipped and you go down and a dude jumps on you, you better have enough reps in your body that it's automatic that you fucking instantly go to chill dog, or you're in New York, you have his collapsed posture on top of you, and that moment that it's there before he can posture up and rain death on you, you better lock that fucker down. It has to be. And if you're screwy already, you're certainly not standing up. That's ludicrous to think a guy's going to have the faculties and strength and the synapses going to his legs and arms to be able to muscle up out. You're not going to. So why wouldn't you want to be safe is my thing.
And you look at Carlos Condit, because I always talk about Vinny Magalhaes and Shinya Aoki. There's only a handful of guys that are really proficient at the rubber guard, but now there's a whole new crop. There's Carlos Condit's playing rubber guard all the time. Ben Henderson playing rubber guard. Jim Miller, like I said,
Donald Cerrone goes in, like he's a big fan.
Is he really?
Yeah.
You know Carlos Condit personally?
Mm-hmm.
Is he's at Jackson's, right?
Yep.
I would love to just have 20 minutes with that dude, because he's so ready to be just a vicious rubber guard player. Vicious. He's going to meat hook a lot, which is good. There's a lot of other stuff you could go to too, though. He really likes meat hook, and that's like Javi Vasquez when he fought Chad Mendez in the UFC, or maybe that was WEC. Was one of those, but Chad Mendez kept taking Javi down, but Javi was letting him take him down because Javi knew that he couldn't take Chad down. So Javi was smart. He knew he couldn't take him down, so he was just kept meat hooking Chad Mendez like the whole fight. Chad couldn't do anything to him on the ground. He couldn't hit him, but looking back at that match, and I've talked to Javi since then, there's so many other options when the meat hook isn't working. If the meat hook's not working and you got that far hand on the mat, bam, you go flying chill dog and start working from that angle, clear the neck.
Fuck yeah.
Go to invisible collar. You don't have to stay at meat hook is just for a little bit, and then you move. You go to different shit. You don't lose the clinch. You don't lose the posture, but there's so much you can do. If you take all my rubber guard masters, you take them all. They all start the same. You got to break the posture. You got to control it. You got to corral that motherfucker, hog tie him with your legs, and then you hit mission control. And then you want that hand on the mat. But once you get to New York, everyone goes a different way. There's so many different paths. Like Jared is not doing step by step. He's not doing what I'm doing. Sean Bollinger, step by step. His strategy, his thinking is not doing exactly what I'm thinking. Our styles do overlap, and we do similar things here and there, but not in the order, not in the same thinking, not the same strategy. Shigeki, different little details. All my rubber guard masters, and Ben Eddy, purple belt from 10th Planet San Francisco, one of Denny Procopo's boys, this guy, his rubber guard he's playing stuff that I never play. Like he's got this new control that we're calling Hindu control. That's like a whole different kind of rubber guard. And he does a marcellitine with his leg involved. It's a rubber guard marcellitine that we call the Hindulotine. And he's not the only one doing it now. He's infecting other students. One of my brown belts, Omar, he's hitting that shit all the time. I can't even hit it. I'm like, whoa, there's so much you can do, man. If I sat Carlos down for 20 minutes, he's obviously super open to it, man. I'm sure that I could.
When you come out
steer him
to
in
do
the
a
right.
seminar, man, we should do.
How's his knee?
We should do. He's it's going to take time, you know.
Torn ACL.
Yeah.
What was it? It wasn't just meniscus.
No, that's an ACL separation. I'm not 100%, but I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
I know he's working with Kyotera, and Kyotera's playing rubber guard now because him and Denny are pretty tight. They train all the time together. So Kyle's doing a lot of rubber guard now. So that's a multiple world champion, living legend right there, Kyotera. He's playing rubber guard, and
it'd be cool to do a second day, or. And that's what it'd take. It would be like come out and stay a second day and have like Carlos and John and Cowboy and just like have an invite only crew of those guys like John Jones come in and just do like here's a little private thing. Let's take 1 hour, boys, and we're gonna clean up a couple things.
I would be down,
man.
I don't want to step on Greg Jackson's toes or anything, but
he's so down. He's open to
is he
anybody
cool?
coming and doing anything. Yeah, he's
because I know when Connor was there,
he's like Henzo.
I know when Connor was there, he said that a lot of people were open to rubber guard. And I don't know. What I would like to know is why Carlos started playing it and why he started. What got him into it? Was it Connor that got him into it? Do you think?
No.
Who was it?
It's Donald. Donald throws up a lot of stuff like that. Yeah.
Oh, okay, so Donald got Carlos into it.
I would think.
Okay.
I don't know for sure. I mean, I haven't asked him. I don't know.
I'm curious.
I'll try to figure all that out and I'll try to set something up.
But he's so ready to be just killing with it. He's so ready for it. He just needs just to see the possibilities, learn the drills to make those possibilities a reality. And man, there's people will not. He's close. He's 6 months of hard drilling from nobody wanting to take him down. He's right there. He's got the flexibility. He's already gone to it.
You look at back in the WC days, he was finishing dudes like that. It was scary.
Yeah.
Arm barring guys, and he was one of the only guys that was like a fucking. He was just a destroyer.
Yeah, and you got children doing this. You got Jacob Harris. He's 14 years old, killing. I mean, Jacob Harris's rubber guard is fantastic. And then 12-year-old Cora Seck. She's 11 or 12.
Yeah.
I can't get enough of Cora.
That's so
I
good.
can't get enough of her. She is just so entertaining to watch. Every weekend, she's got more footage. Every weekend, another epic performance with incredible jiu-jitsu. Her rubber guard is fucking nasty. It's better than 95% of grown-ass men's rubber guard. She goes to it so beautifully. As soon as she gets full guard, those legs are coming up lightning quick. And the combo she puts together, it's hard to believe. How could an 11-year-old little girl be so good at the rubber guard? And it's just like, there's 11-year-old little Asian girls that are virtuosos at cellos and violins and can crush grown-ass men and women with piano and stuff. It's the exact same thing. Cora Seck represents, and Jacob Miller, they represent children or teenagers now that are virtuosos. That they could be virtuosos in anything.
Right.
There's that little Japanese kid who gets on stage with Ozzy and he shreds on guitar and he's like 12 or 13 and he's just playing Crazy Train like nothing. So that's what Cora Seck and Jacob are. They're just virtuosos at the 10 planet system. And Cora's only been at it for like a year and a half. If that girl can make it through puberty and stick with jiu-jitsu and not get involved, not get pregnant and not get involved with a guy who's just too jealous of it and makes her quit because she's so in love with him and I'm willing to quit jiu-jitsu for you, just don't leave me. That happens all the time. If she can make it, man, when she's like 22, 23, she's just going to be a fucking nightmare for every girl out there.
What's cool too is with a base like that, for the really integral kind of movement like that, like in the pathways like that. Not to say that there's not intricacies in like a double leg or a single leg or whatever, but the pathways are much less. It's like a much simpler payoff, like A, B, C takedown.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And but it like when you talk about being a well-rounded athlete, like you've got to spend time at all that stuff. So there's shorter time you can spend learning that. Like if she's already excellent off her back, like fuck, that's huge. That's world championship.
She'll never get that out of her DNA. Like, if I never talk to her ever again and never help her, there's just no way she's ever going to get that out of her DNA.
Is that between like 11 and 16, that's when all those motor functions for children get put into place. So what you're doing, it's like why you see girls that have the best asses, they played fucking field hockey, soccer, they were gymnasts or something in that age range. You know what I mean?
They're white.
And it's like, or like, why has Joe Rogan got such a nasty fucking kick? Because when he was that age, that's what he was doing, is moving in that way, you know? And so what you do at that time, those pathways are there forever, ever.
Yeah. And then there's another girl from 10th Planet Bethlehem, another little Asian girl, 11 years old, 12 years old, Grace. Oh, my God. She's another one. She's just like Cora Sack. They're exactly the same height, the same size. They just are geniuses with jiu-jitsu. Grace, you know, it's just, there's just all these kids. They're just, it's so entertaining to watch. You know, and you know, my tournament coming up, EBI, we're going to do EBI men's division. We're going to do EBI Grand Prix. We're going to do EBI women. We're going to do EBI kids. We're going to do it all. And that's Eddie Bravo Invitational. That's my tournament. That the first one is June 1st. In Hollywood at the Florentine Gardens. We're having 2 16-man tournaments. We're basically filming a pilot, so it's not going to be on internet pay-per-view or anything like that. We're not going to do internet pay-per-view. We're just putting together a pilot to sell to the Spanish market, because the Spanish market is so obsessed with MMA and jiu-jitsu right now. They can't get enough of it. So Victor Davila, who is the commentator for the UFC in Spanish, he is producing it. He's producing EBI. He's doing everything all day. Like that's all he does is he's putting together the show. I'm just talking about it and kind of executive producing it and overseeing it and putting together the rules. And I set up the overtime rounds, and our overtime rounds are unlike anything you've ever heard of before. And the sole mission of this is to put jiu-jitsu on TV, make it exciting enough so that UFC fans that don't normally watch jiu-jitsu, most of them don't. I would say 98% of UFC fans do not go out of their way to watch any grappling matches because of the point system. It's just too complicated, too boring, too much holding. It's just ridiculous. That's why jiu-jitsu hasn't been on TV this whole time. It's the point system. So you got to do a submission-only style tournament, and everything has got to be designed to create urgency for the competitors to finish the fight. Well, and money's really the only way to do it. And the way it's, you know, we're just filming the pilot. There's no big money involved, but once we get investors and sponsors all on board, it's going to be all about money. It's 16-man tournament, just super 16-man tournament. So in that sense, it's like Abu Dhabi.
Would this negate guys from being able to go into amateur tournaments anymore? Would they still be able to compete in Naga, Grappler's Quest?
Oh, absolutely.
Worlds and all that, even if they're paid grapplers?
Yeah. Grapplers get paid all the time. They get paid at Grappler's Quest. They do super fights. They get paid at Metamoris. It makes no difference at all. But
if they have wrestling on TV, which they do.
Yeah.
And as exciting as that is, there's I would think that it would be tenfold what people would want to go see finishing jiu-jitsu matches, like to see that kind of, like, it's amazing. And there's such a limited understanding of what wrestling is, the point structure and all that stuff, that like that's a very specific group of people that you're looking at that are interested in watching that.
Yeah, and there's so
huge.
many people do wrestling that you can't put that on TV in certain markets, because in certain parts of the states, it is like in that sense, like
it's
you're
watching
football.
Bible study.
Yeah, because they all grow up doing wrestling, so their families all entrenched in it. So you can't put it on TV in Indiana. You can't put it on TV in Iowa or Oklahoma or whatever. You can't. Yeah. It'll be on the local stations, but just because everyone grows up doing it, everyone knows about it. You could put softball on TV out there. and baseball and stuff, but Little League. But with this, the first show, June 1st, we're doing 2 16-man tournaments, a 145 tournament and a 170 tournament, both same day weigh-in. We're eliminating the having to master a weight cut. So we still have a few spots open. So if you are known as a submission wizard, a straight assassin, and you could walk around at 145 or you could walk around at 170, same day weigh-in, contact Master Vic, one word, Master Vic with a C, MasterVic at EddieBravoInvitational.com. And or if you know anybody who it's got, we're on a tight little budget. There's no big money involved yet, so we're using local fighters because we're not paying for any flights or any hotels or anything like that for this. So this is there will be some money awarded to the winner. There will be. We're not going to talk about that too much, but ultimately when the money really comes in, it's going to be set up like a game show. It's going to be 16-man brackets, and after every win, after the first 8 matches, there's 8 guys left, and they'll all have a pot, like a game show. The guy that wins everything, he's the only one who collects on the pot, but everyone has a pot. So in that opening round, if you win your match in regulation, you get $25,000 in your pot. If you win that match in overtime, we have special submission-based overtime rounds. If you win it in overtime, then you have $5,000 in your pot. So if the winner wins all his matches, 4 matches, all in regulation, he gets $100,000. If he wins all his matches in overtime, then he gets $20,000, which is not bad. It's like a game show.
Right.
So it's not in your best interest to try to stall to get into the overtimes, because maybe you're really good at the overtimes and you're not so good at the regulation.
Right.
Well, you want to win in overtime. You're not going to win as much money. So it's got to be submission based. So ultimately, my dream would be that the guy at the top, if he wins all his matches in regulation, he wins $1 million, right? And if you win in every time you win in overtime, you win nothing. Or no, you know what? You got to win something because the winner has to have some kind of money. So I would say, if it was $1 million, it would be $250,000 if you win in regulation each match. So that's $1 million if you win all 4 in regulation. So $250,000 in regulation and maybe $5,000 in or something like that. You know what I mean? So we want urgency.
Right.
Urgency. We want those guys to have that money spent already in their mind, so that they have to. So can you imagine the coaching, right? If your coach, it's like let's say it's the finals match. And it's $1 million. There's $1 million at stake, but it's a point system, right? If you were fighting, right? If you won this match, it's the finals. It's point. You're up 2 points and you're inside control.
Hold.
Your coach is going to be screaming to hold because he's getting paid a percentage of your purse. So if you decided to try to mount and go for it, dude, you know how his head would explode right there? Yeah. How furious he would be? He'd be so fucking hold them with 1 minute
and then
left.
You get Upa, and then you're in and then
they
pass
passes
your
your
guard.
Right? But if it's a submission only match and you have to win by submission, imagine the coaching.
Yep.
The coaching would be just completely opposite.
You'd even be saying, "Let him pass. Who cares? Get up, fucking. You can darce for." You know what I mean? He'd be like whatever you'd been working on.
I want to have all the guys. I want to encourage betting too for the people in the audience.
Like Abu Dhabi.
If can you imagine the whole audience they're invested.
If we
in
do this,
it,
I'm going to wear a Shah outfit. I'm going to wear the turban and a thing and the whole thing, and I'm going to be betting like that. Me and Rasan will be standing next to each other.
I'm going to encourage everyone to bet $5, $10. That makes so much more noise.
Hey, how about this? How about the way that they did it in Abu Dhabi, the old school days, right? And so the Sheikh is there, and he's got all his rich friends. And they have different T-shirts, right? That they give these, and so they bet against each other. Like a group of millionaire guys are over here, a group over there. We got the green shirts, you got the blue shirts, and they'd bet back and forth against each other like that. Like you could do that in this whole thing too. You go, okay, who's betting people that are coming in, and you could pre-select us all. we'd be like, okay, we want the red shirt guys. These guys are the blue shirt guys or whatever. And then you just automatically have fun bets with your friends over that
Yeah,
shit.
yeah,
you
fun
know?
bets. Nothing
That'd
where
be
you can
awesome.
get busted on.
It'd be awesome.
I'm actually going to go in front of the
That'd be
crowd and say,
awesome.
over that, we're going to start in about 45 minutes, but I encourage you just to bet your friends, just $10, $20. I encourage a $20 bet. Make it hurt a little bit if you lose. Start putting up
And
all
you could
these
have
bets.
strangers bet strangers because we would all know who the other betting guy was. Because if you were a betting dude, you'd come in and I go, okay, I'm going to put $50 down. And for that $50, I get my headdress thing to show that I'm one of the bettors. And so you could go around to any of the other guys with the chic turban on, and you could all bet each other.
Yeah.
It's a whole other side game. Maybe I got crazy.
Yeah, so we're trying to make this work, man. We're getting sponsors together.
June 1st.
It's June 1st is the first show, and like I said, it's a pilot.
Say, too, this shit too is like you discourage dudes from living their dreams just now. And I can't believe you did that, where you're like, hey, we're not paying for anybody to travel or stay in a hotel or anything. But God damn it, how many times, how many thousands of dollars did you spend to travel somewhere to go to the Worlds or the Pan Ams or fucking Grappler's Quest? You don't get paid for any of that shit either. So if you're a banger out there that's just fucking cutting dudes' heads off with your guillotine, then come out and fucking pay your way and come out and let us get to know who you are, so that you're on the map for when this thing goes bigger, and like you'll be able to sharpen up your tools. You know,
ultimately, we're going to be
So
flying people in.
It's not like, I would look at it as another opportunity that, okay, I'm going to go and I'm going to put my foot in this thing too, and just take your money out that you allot for. I'm going to spend this much on grappling tournaments this year, or whatever you do if you're budgeting. And get your shit together and come out. There's a lot of great schools out there, and there's a lot of cheap plane rides to get to Los Angeles and submit a tape and hit up like Eddie said, the email mastervic@eddiebravoinvitational.com and just hit it up.
We need we need 3 or 4 more 145ers. We almost got 16 145ers, and we need about 6 170 guys. So, I mean, we got them all. We could fill that up. We could fill it up easily with 10 Planet guys, but we want to put no more than 2 people per school and put them at the opposite ends of the brackets. And if 2 dudes from the same school end up at the finals, they got to fight. We can't have that.
Right.
Yeah. If you got to go at it 100%. And we do all the time. At Gracie Nationals, it's a 10th Planet
fest.
Yeah, it's like we're going against each other all the time.
It's a bro fest.
Yeah, it's just grappling. It's no big deal. Yep. Now, when it comes to MMA, that's different. You don't want to punch your own teammates, but this is grappling. We're trying to separate everybody and not make teammates fight each other, but 10 Planet guys don't mind grappling against each other. We do it all the time. We're used to it. We can keep our egos in check, and it's very important that no one gets butt hurt. If they do, if people start getting butt hurt, they're going to get kicked out. I'm not going to deal with any of that shit. It's just grappling, and so it sucks, especially in Gracie Nationals, and it would be better if we didn't have to go against each other, but when it comes to submission-only tournaments, that's what we train for. That's what our school is like. So that is exactly our style, submission-only. We don't ban any submissions. In class, we can reap the leg.
It's a crazy thing, dude.
We can go for heel hooks.
Submissions.
Yeah. So if your sole mission is to win IBJJF tournaments, then you should never be practicing heel hooks or reaping or any kind of neck cranks because you're wasting your time. You can't do that. You can't do that in those tournaments. And the most important thing in those tournaments is sweeping and passing. Submissions is not important at all. It's not important. You don't have to.
Do you know what the numbers are?
What?
For like, if there was 480 matches in the Pan Ams, what the percentage of wins by a kill versus an advantage point or whatever.
I have no idea.
It would be fascinating to see what that is. It's got to be such a small number. I mean, percentage-wise, I bet it's got to be 10% or less.
I don't know. All I know is no one likes to watch it. Those tournaments are always empty. The stands are always empty. No one knows what's going on. There's 12 matches going on. No one understands the point system. There's a reason why no one goes to those tournaments. They're just so not entertaining. It's solely designed for the competitor itself without the audience ever being considered at all. And we're trying to change that. EBI is all about the audience. It's all about entertainment. The competitor is a second-class citizen. He's like a slave. This is like gladiator. You know what I mean? We're doing it different. We're trying to make it entertaining. If we got to prod you, well, we will.
Might have to.
We got to whip you backstage. We're gonna
put
have to.
like a little burr put in the waistband or something, so every time they move, they know who the master is.
Just get prisoners in there, you know what I mean, and just like attach like some electric.
Good at jiu-jitsu?
I don't know, but we could do whatever you want with them.
I guess we could.
Yeah.
We see a lot of finishes.
Yep.
You put Gio against some prisoner from somewhere, that motherfucker's going to sleep. Just be a slaughter.
Yeah. So for the 10th Planet guys in 170, we got we're pitching it to the Spanish networks because jiu-jitsu is just so hot there, and it's a lot easier to deal with TV executives in the Spanish market because of Victor Davila. He has a relationship with all of them, so we really don't have to go to an American network and sit there and try to explain grappling to them, and they'd just be like, some old Jewish guy going, "What the fuck? Where's the titties?" Yep. So we don't. I don't want to do that. I'd rather go right to the market that wants it, and the Spanish market wants it. That's why. So we
see that Campbell McLaren's got a new thing coming up.
Yep.
Based on the similar idea.
Yeah. So we're we are using white people and black people and Chinese and all that, but we're focusing more on Latin grapplers.
Will you speak in English?
Yes. No. It's going to be shot in Spanish, man. Everything's going to be in Spanish.
Will I get subtitles at least? Or
yes, but lost? It will be shown in America on Spanish networks. So hopefully, ultimately, it'll get picked up really quick by an American network, and we could just do it right away. But meantime, it's going to be all Spanish. I'm going to be the ref to make sure there's nothing goes wrong, because I know the rules better than anybody.
There will only be one ref.
Yeah, that's going to be me. And in the 170, like I mentioned earlier, the 145, we got Gio Martinez, who's Mexican. He's going to be at 145.
He sounds Mexican.
10th Planet black belt. And the other 10th Planet representative at 145 is not Mexican or Cuban or anything. He's a white guy. His name is Ben Eddy. He's the guy I was talking about earlier with the crazy Hindulo teen and the Hindu control. He's insane. He's a gamer. He wrestled. So we're throwing him in there too. He's just such a gamer that we're giving him a chance. We got so many people that we could throw in there. Ultimately, we got Ruben Rivera.
Rivera.
He's about as Mexican as you can get. Yeah. We could throw him in there.
And he's very handsome. He's very.
What we're doing is this has to be, for it to be successful, it has to be the jiu-jitsu first and then your team second. So I'm not going to pull any Metamoris type stuff. I'm going to make sure that the jiu-jitsu show is first. So I'm not going to push for 10th Planet guys to win, or I'm going to root for them, but I'm not going to sabotage my show.
And you're going to look at him shitty afterwards, like you'll never treat that guy the same if he loses.
I'm not going to threaten anybody if someone beats Gio or anything like that. At 170, we have a Mexican guy and a white guy as well. The Mexican guy is Gio's brother, Richie Boogeyman Martinez, who's a brown belt, who's on fire right now. He's 2-0 in professional MMA with 2 Japanese neckties. He's got another fight coming up a week before. I hope he doesn't get cut. A week before EBI. He'll be in great shape, so it's a good thing. He's fighting in Rosarito in Mexico, in Rosarito. I'm going to be there cornering him, and the white guy that's at 170 that represents 10th Planet is a black belt.
This is very racial.
Nathan Orchard. He's on Fazaya right now. So we got 2 badass dudes at 170, Boogeyman and Nathan Orchard, and then 2 badasses at 145, Gio and Ben Eddy. All 4 of those guys are probably the most active 10th Planet competitors right now. And, there's going to be room for, we plan on doing many shows a year and just blowing it up. We want, as far as the 10th Planet guys that get in, the only reason I brought up the show first, when it comes to this, the show is first, 10th Planet is second. When it comes to this, I'm sorry, 10th Planet guys, but if 10th Planet was first and the show second, then the show would probably fail. So it's the show first, 10th Planet second when it comes to EBI. But obviously, I'm rooting for 10th Planet guys, but the show has got to be filled with integrity, and we're not going to pull any shenanigans or any bullshit. I am just interested in the best possible guys we can get. So it's like, Eddie, put me in. I'm like, have you been competing a lot?
Yeah,
Are you
man.
winning a lot?
It makes such a difference.
You know what I mean?
For guys
We'll
that
probably
have a
just
competitor.
it'll probably end up just taking votes
Yeah.
on the 10WO or
I have a
something. You
question.
know,
Who's the best looking guy in the 10th Planet system
besides me,
besides you?
I'm gonna say Alan Juban,
I knew you were gonna say
Victor
Alan.
Webster,
Victor Webster. you
Ruben
said.
Rivera. He looks
Ruben
like
Rivera.
Bruno Mars, and I think that's about it, man.
Yeah.
I think that's it. You can't fuck with Alan Juban.
It'd be Alan or Ruben. I would go.
Victor,
go, like,
come on.
I don't know. I haven't seen his face in a long time.
Come on. Victor's very pretty.
It's a whole different animal. I feel like he's like in a different class.
He's the Scorpion King, man. But you know what? I will say,
There's nobody prettier than Ruben. I mean, I used to get mad at Alan when I'd see him. I'd walk in and I'd like, this pretty motherfucker. And you'd see him just kickbox over there on the Brea. And I
yeah.
was like, but goddamn, I love that guy. He is fucking not only good looking, but one of the toughest motherfuckers out there. He's out there. Did you see his last fight? Of course you did.
You know what? I just saw the ending.
Oh,
My TV doesn't work right now. DirecTV's down. I can't see shit. But he
He's a
came back.
savage.
Did you see the whole thing?
and a beautiful dude. What a guy, man.
He
His
came
heart-
back.
Oh, yeah.
He was getting hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's his MO, dude. I can't tell you how many times he's come back from the dead. In Gracie Nationals, which he won Gracie Nationals, but his second fight, I'm pretty sure it was the second fight, he had his back taken, and the dude had a full rear naked choke, and it looked deep to the point where you like kind of just say, okay, you just walk away and start looking for
Right, the next
another
one
guy to
you're gonna
coach.
coach, yeah.
You know, like this one's done. And then I look back and like, how did he get out? How does he on top of me just pass his guard? And then he chokes that dude out. Like that's what he does. Alan, something. It's a good quality to have, but when he's just about done, something clicks in his head to go, okay, I'm done, but fuck it, I might as well just try my hardest right now and see what happens. And then boom, he does it. You know, when a lot of people will fold at that point.
It's kind of like that thing about like if you escape a triangle and you go, who's the guy that's in most danger? The guy that just escaped or the guy that was throwing the triangle up? The guy that just escaped is like, like that's like fighting Godzilla.
Yeah.
If a guy gets out of your triangle, and you know what that feels like.
Yeah.
Like that's a dude that is, and that's the kind of like you see that when dudes fight from death like that.
Yeah.
Scott Smith was that guy, the
Yeah.
guy that was fucking hurt. He did that with everybody, and he
Pete Sell?
fucking knocked out Pete Sell, fucking me, fucking Kyle Noak. Like he gets hurt, damaged, beat up for rounds.
Is he
And
still
then-
fighting?
I think he might be.
Where at?
I don't know.
World Series of Fighting?
I don't know. His manager got a hold of me a while ago. I don't know. I think he took a fighter. He's trying to do something in Bellator, maybe. Nice guy, man. Really great dude. So EBI we covered. Metamoris. I don't know, Eddie. Tell me about these chemtrails.
You know, the crazy thing about the chemtrail phenomenon that's going on is not one. You know, I'm looking at the sky every day. Every day, it's really simple. You look up. I've been on so many flights over the last 10 years. Every time I take off from LAX, we take off the exact same way.
Yeah.
Every time we land, we get on these. You get in a lane.
It's like
and
they're
you land.
highways.
Yeah, there's a highway in the sky. You land. These planes aren't just flying randomly over the airport. I've never seen a commercial airliner with a legit contrail that.
I'm in Venice all the time. I've never.
I see commercial airlines all the time. You could see them. Like, oh, that's a Southwest. That's an American. I've never seen, and it's because when they're near the airport, when they're within 10 miles of the airport, they're so low that they don't even have the legit contrails, the kind that disappear within 30 seconds. If a commercial airliner has a contrail, it's nowhere near the airport. Nowhere, because I've never seen a commercial airliner.
What is it when they
with
say
a
about
contrail.
different condensations and different like? you hear people talk that, right? When they're like, oh, no, it's just the condensation. And then the reason it's sometimes there, sometimes not is because they're at different elevations and the air mixes at a different rate and all that shit.
Yeah, but every time I see a plane leaving persistent contrails, which are also known as chemtrails, and they just last all day, it's never a commercial airliner, never on a commercial flight path. It's really simple. You look up. Is that plane that's spraying something? Is it making artificial clouds? Is it on a commercial flight path? A child can figure it out. The airport's right there. You see, I see in downtown.
Crazy the way they look.
Yeah.
They
so
zigzag,
and it's all over today. You saw it today.
Like if you saw planes up there like that, there would be planes running into each other. It's like it, but they hang there long enough that the plane's long gone. But it's like a checkerboard.
Yeah, and if you hear the things that I'm saying, you either think I'm crazy or lying. Like what I'm saying I've never seen a commercial airliner even have legit contrails, because the commercial airliners that have legit contrails, they're like 30,000 feet in the air. You can't even see the plane. You think you could see a plane 30,000 feet in the air?
That's miles.
You wouldn't even see it. When you're 30,000 feet in the air, when you look down at a city, do you think you could spot a plane?
Right.
On the ground?
Right.
No.
Right.
You
You're
can't see
6 miles
shit.
or whatever.
You can't even see a building. You just see like big squares and shit.
Yeah.
So you think when a plane, I don't know how high they have to be to actually make legit contrails, the ones that disappear in 30 seconds, but I'm never up there to see it, so I've never seen them. I'm sure commercial airliners do have contrails, that they do have that legit condensation, all that shit. But what I'm talking about, either I'm crazy or I'm lying. I can see planes leaving, because I live in between two airports. Burbank, I know the Burbank flight. It's really simple, their flight patterns. They take off the same way and they land the same way. They take off this way and then they land this way. They go down, it's like they're going down Burbank Boulevard. And then they take off the same thing. LAX, you see they start descending. If they're coming from the East Coast, they start descending at Palm Springs and they make that slow descent and then they get in that lane and they continue going west until they hit LAX. If they're coming from the east, they go past the airport, just north of it, and then they make a U-turn downtown, and then they get on those lanes that the other flights were already on coming from the east. It's really simple. Every time I drive into downtown LA, there's always a plane or two making that U-turn at downtown, making that U-turn. It's always the same thing. When you drive down the 405, you see all the planes. You could sometimes see 5 or 6 all in different lanes about to land in LAX. Never once do they ever have any kind of anything coming out of them, ever. They never do. All the planes that are leaving the persistent contrails, the artificial clouds, they're always random military aircraft or unmarked planes. They're low enough so that you can see. They're not 30,000 feet in the air. And then
you see the planes themselves?
You can see them themselves. And the trajectory and all that. When you see a plane leaving, like today, like all day today, is so normal. They're like flying to the stratosphere like a missile. Commercial airliners don't do that. They're not on commercial flight paths. That's not you see them coming from the Air Force Base by Palmdale. You see, it doesn't. An idiot can figure it out. It's like this. So you either think I'm crazy for saying like I'm totally nuts, or a complete idiot, which is the same thing, or I'm lying. So. Like, where's the proof? Where's the proof? I don't know how to get up in 30,000 feet and take test samples. Like, how hard is that? But I know one thing. Those aren't commercial airliners, and every single motherfucking time that the entire sky is covered with artificial clouds, it's coming from planes that are not on commercial flight paths. So it's like, when people say...
it's not like it's a free-for-all.
It's like when people
say... just go up there. You have to be sanctioned to go up. You have to have clearance.
Yeah. And then, like, right now I showed you that video from the
That's
UN.
The crazy thing.
Yeah, we watch a video.
About that.
Yeah, there's a video. I just tweeted it today. Today is Monday. You could check my tweets on Monday, the 21st, April 21st, Monday. Check my tweets. I tweeted a video of a UN, a United Nations conference, and they're talking about...
They talk about it like if there are chemtrails happening. It's like there's people that are talking about it like, hey, these chemtrails that you're doing, they're affecting global agriculture. Like
Yeah.
for hundreds of thousands of square miles, you're affecting global agriculture because you're spraying this all in the air. Like I only watched a few minutes of it, but it's like they're not talking about if people are spraying shit in the air. She's talking about that it's occurring and the
Right now.
problems that it's causing.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's almost like when people say, "Oh, dude, you live by an airport. Oh, jets. Oh, you're all paranoid about jets." It's like someone saying, it's like if there was this phenomenon, right, where people are getting like just beat up, and everyone thinks that it's happening like at MMA gyms. Like let's say guys are getting beat up and mugged and just thrashed, and the official story is that, yeah, man, these MMA gyms, they just beat up people that come in, and they're people are getting beat up. And then like it's like me like working across the street from an MMA gym, and I see that it's a gang that's not in the gym. It's a gang that's outside the gym, and I'm watching them beat up these people, and they have nothing. I've never seen it happen inside the gym. I'm like, every day these guys are getting beat up across the street, but they're blaming the MMA gym. You know, and I'm seeing this every day, and I'm trying to tell people it's not the people in the MMA gym. It has nothing to do with the airport. It has nothing to do with it's right. People across the street of the gym. But, oh, dude, you live by an MMA gym. You live by an MMA gym. They're coming for it. It's something like that. I'm trying to make some kind of analogy. I'm like,
right.
It's not happening in the MMA gym. You must think I'm either crazy for saying, or why would I lie? And this is what everyone's saying. Anybody that pays attention and looks at what they're doing, they are doing some experiments, you know, with the stratosphere. And it's nothing new. They've done it before. And then the crazy thing right now is this is how they do it. This is how
and they're saying they're weather experiments.
No,
a lot of.
But this is what they're saying. They're saying there was never any weather experiments, and there's geoengineering doesn't exist. Weather modification doesn't exist. But what they do is, of course, it exists. But what they do is, now they're saying there's a guy named David Keith, that the total government shield that they hired. He's doing all these interviews, so it's obvious that the one dude is getting out there saying, the only way we're going to save the planet from global warming is we got to start spraying some metallic particles in the atmosphere.
That is fucking crazy.
So wait a minute. Why are you telling? So this is what they do. They say this is what we have to do. And we're not doing it now, but you know what? We're going to have to do this. So over a period of 5-10 years, we look back, and then it's like it all gets blurred. Like they never hid it from us. They were talking about it the whole time.
It's like even with the weed, like like all these dummies that are so excited about weed being illegal.
Yeah.
And like wait till Upjohn and shit is making it. You fuck.
Yeah. And then it's like the NSA back when Alex Jones was saying, dude, they're listening to our they're listening to our phone calls, or they're looking at all our emails, and everyone thought he was crazy. But then they start going, you know what? We're to stop terrorism, we might have to start flagging people if they're terrorists, or if they're suspected of terrorist activity. We're going to have to write some laws where we have access to look at their emails and stuff like that. So slowly, then we agree with that, and then slowly they're looking at all our emails. And then
you watch Transcendence?
No. And then they say, now people say, oh, they never hid that from us. That's not a conspiracy theory. Yeah, of course everybody knows that the NSA is looking at our stuff. You see how people are so
cool.
Stupid. And you know what? They even know it, but they don't want to be looked at as someone who got fooled.
It's so weird.
So then they'll go, dude, they never hid that from us.
It's all the same shit. It's like all like and how fiction is like interesting when like Sean Stone was here, and how fiction and reality are mirrored at this point in a huge way. And then like I heard Jimmy Carter a month ago say, I only write, if it's important, I write a letter and I send it snail mail because it's the only way I'm sure. He says, they tell us that they're reading everything. I'm not going to email anybody anything. Like, that's Jimmy fucking Carter, who, like, we have our own little talks that happen amongst our group.
Yeah.
What talks is the guy that was the head of the free world having with fucking Seattle? Like, his people that he chats with, that he has, like, little gossip talks with, are fucking the guys that made those decisions. Like, he knows.
Yeah.
And then I watched Transcendence, and there's a scene in it last night, and fucking Morgan Freeman had to get information because the web's been overtaken by a sentient being and all this shit. And fucking, the only way is to send a letter. Like, it's like all that shit is it's all coming together as the same. And so, like, when you're talking about like when people talk about global conspiracies, or they talk about like, oh, they control the what, like, of course, like that, of course that's happening.
Yeah.
Like it seems
If
crazy.
they're not
to think,
doing that, I would tell the people that rule. I'm like, you guys aren't controlling the weather.
You know what the crazy
You guys
thing?
aren't controlling our food. You guys got to get on the ball. You aren't controlling the media. I thought you were controlling the media the whole time.
Right.
You dumbasses.
Right.
That's rule number one. Control the media.
The thing that
You
would be
wanna rule
shocking
an
that
empire?
you'd look crazy about is like if you were like, yeah, the government's trying to keep everything naturally and single sourced out of local farms, and like that would be the crazy thing if we believed that they were on our side that way. Like,
I think Switzerland might be the only country like
Iceland.
that. And Switzerland, I think they promote everyone to grow their own stuff. I'm
Right.
not sure that everyone can have machine guns.
When
That's why people are putting all their money in their
when
banks.
Iceland went over, when their banks fucked up and they started to get
Yes.
they
took over.
crushed them.
Yeah.
They crushed the banks, gave all the money back to the people, and fucking put those guys in prison.
Yeah.
Here, we rewarded them. We bailed them out and gave not all the people that were fucking members of the bank, you and I, anything, but they gave the fucking heads of that bank trillions of fucking dollars.
Yeah, man. Crazy stuff, dude. There's crazy stuff going on, man, that it almost seems like, man, we're going to have to go through some serious hard times before we can pull ourselves out of this, because
There needs to be a shutdown.
the corruption and it just seems like lately the stuff that I've been discovering, it seems like, oh, that's why they're doing it.
Yeah.
Oh, there's some
Well,
stuff
now
that
you
I don't
start
even
to
want to
put-
talk
you-
about.
You start to put the dots
Yeah,
together.
we'll talk about this off camera, but there's some stuff that I found out recently that, Jesus Christ.
I want to go. I want you to go see Transcendence. I want to see if it makes it through the Eddie Bravo filter. If you walk out of it,
Yeah.
I know it's hard to sit through a whole movie.
Yeah. All I'm gonna say is here's a message for everyone who has children. If you have children, go to YouTube and just search Ted Gunderson. He's a former FBI chief for Southern California. Was an FBI for 27 years. J. Edgar Hoover hired him. Totally sane guy. He got smeared by the FBI. They try to make him seem crazy, but he's not crazy. He just knows a lot of information, and it's scary information. Really, 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 really scary stuff. Ted Gunderson. Really scary stuff. Just listen to him talk, and that's all I'm going to say. And it's just watch your kids. Don't let your kids out of your sight, because there's people coming after them, and just watch your kids. That's all I'm going to say.
That sounds fucking crazy. Now I got to go watch Ted Gunderson on a video.
Hide your kids.
Hide your wives, hide your kids.
Hide your kids.
They're raping everybody.
Keep your eye on your kids. Low jack them somehow.
Crazy.
That would be the best thing. Like, and that's the
They
best.
already low jack them. They're already doing that.
Yeah,
That's an intrusion. They're microchipping
You
kids
can't.
so they can find them.
There's got to be a way to low jack your kid without being invasive.
You gotta
Is there a way?
Give them
toe ring?
their favorite sneakers.
A toe ring or something.
Like they got sneakers that light up, like something like that.
But they're a smart kidnapper would strip them down. What about a toe ring would be the only thing, right?
And I don't know. Do you want to promote that? You want to promote people wearing toe rings?
Some kind of, where can you put some
Maybe
kind
a pendant,
They could just rip that shit off.
cock ring.
How old's the kid?
You gonna make me blush? There's well, I don't, we'll talk more later. Let's go. You want to go eat?
Yeah, we got to get out of here, man.
Right.
Thank you, man, for. Let me say one more thing.
Yeah.
All the techniques, or most of the techniques I pulled off in Metamoris 3 I break it all down. Don't watch that Gracie breakdown. You're not going to learn anything from that. My breakdown is the Bravo breakdown. It's Mastering the System, episode 71. It's available on my website, 10thplanetjj.com. Click Techniques, and I break down the electric chair, the whip downs, which is huge. Whip downs are so key. If I didn't whip down on a Hoyler, the match could have went totally different. It's how to get the underhook back when you lost it. I break down the electric chair, break down the vaporizer, the electric stone sweep that led to the vaporizer. So all that stuff's broken down to the core. So just go to 10thplanetjj.com, click Techniques. It's episode 71. You'll have access to all 71 episodes for $5 a month. I couldn't go any cheaper. I'd like to go cheaper, but I couldn't. Also, if you're bored of your music and you're feeling experimental with music, go to soundcloud.com/Eddie-Bravo. You can download all my music there for free. No one would buy it.
That's where you can also hear the song that opened up the show today.
Yeah, that one's Rest in Peace. Also, damn, what else?
Eddie Bravo Invitation.
My new book, Advanced Rubber Guard, also available at 10thplanetjj.com. That has everything I did in that match against Hoyler is all in Advanced Rubber Guard. Although I didn't do any rubber guard, that book and the DVD Mastering the Rubber Guard includes my entire bottom game, which has quarter guard, mini stomp, electric chairs, and all that stuff. So whether you get the DVD Mastering the Rubber Guard or my new book, Advanced Rubber Guard, all my half guard, quarter guard, electric chair stuff is all in that DVD and that book. If you order it on my website, if you're into signatures, I sign everything that is purchased on my website. So if you're into signatures, I'll sign it. If you're not, I sign it anyways. Also, we got 10th Planet shirts and rash guards and all sorts of crazy stuff.
Hats.
No, we just have beanies. No caps
bullshit.
yet. Still working on caps.
You know the reason I want you to see that movie Transcendence is because I'm in it in a 10th Planet hat.
Oh, really?
In a baseball cap made it.
Is the movie out now? I remember when you
Came
called
out
me
this
and said,
weekend.
"Dude, I'm going to wear." Was it with the chick from Brad Pitt's ex-girl?
No, it's with Morgan Freeman and
What chick was in it? Angelina Jolie?
No.
Jennifer Aniston?
No, it's no big chick.
Courtney Cox?
I don't know who the bitch was that was in it. She was really sweet though, sweet girl. And I forget the
Mila
actress's
Kunis?
name. None of those. The two big ones were Morgan Freeman and Johnny Depp. There was no. Evelyn was. She's an English actress.
Oh, fuck her then.
I forget.
Oh, also, one last thing. In October, the dates aren't set yet, but in October, I'm planning. It's happening. UK tour. I'm coming back to the UK, and I'm also gonna hit Norway, Denmark.
Europe doesn't matter so much to me. That doesn't matter at all.
Sweden.
What about Santa Fe?
When are we doing that?
That's what I'm saying. Because I think Iowa or somebody stole it from me,
Yeah.
and then we're gonna do it like in the fall.
Okay.
I don't
November cool? We cool?
I mean,
Or should we
whatever,
September
whatever
13th?
you say, you know.
You know what? I'm going to give you you want September 13th?
No,
you want it?
I know that somebody else already has that.
It's
that
not
Iowa?
official yet. It's not official. They do. They
We
did
could go
pencil it
November.
in.
We could go November.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Just send me a text so I'll just put that in really
Okay.
quick. But a Midwest training camp
Oh.
is May 4th, May 3rd.
John Patello.
John Patello is going to be there. Brandon McCaffrey, the Martinez
Gio.
brothers, Derek Stewart. It's at 10th Planet Omaha Midwest Training Camp. It's going to be 3 days. It's going to be awesome. It's the first weekend in May. Just go to the 10thplanetjj.com. All my seminar information is on the Nibiru forum. That's the forum. I'm on there every day, going back and forth. All the seminar information is on the Nibiru forum. Thank you very much, man. I think that's about it. Drink Dos Equis. Get the Alex Jones app. Get the 10th Planet 411 app. Get the SoundCloud app.
See what happens when he says, I think that's it, we're done, and we could just sit here and we could add more.
Yeah, and what else?
Love you all, people. Thank you very much for listening, motherfuckers, and please go hug somebody. Later.